Are you a hacker? Want to find out? That's what we're talking about on today's show, the lighter side, the humorous side of cybersecurity with You Might Be a Hacker If. Coming up on OT Exposed Raw. What's up, everybody? We're back from the dead. Not really. We just took a little bit of a production break. Had some things going on. Got busy. It's the end of the year. Got all the holidays coming up. So, yeah, we had a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back. I'm your host, Clint Bodungeon. This is OT Exposed Raw. And today's going to be a fun show. Instead of talking about the usual standard news and events and all that kind of bull going on, we got a surprise special guest, and we got the usual boring Pascal. Yes, I said that. He's gonna nail me whenever I bring him on the stage here in a minute. But anyway, so we're talking about the lighter side, the humorous side of cybersecurity, kind of Jeff Foxworthy style, but instead of redneck, because that's clearly my camp, my other camp is hackers, and so we're going to talk about You Might Be a Hacker If. So let's go ahead and bring on the hacker man himself, Pascal.
Woohoo!
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you boring, or did I?
No, actually, I was going to say this is one we need to put in there. If your co-host says you're boring, you might be a hacker.
Yeah. Well, let's not spoil it yet. So, let's get into this. This, since the show's be a little different, it may not run the full length or whatever, but we got a lot of them here. And my hope is that, it's not just going to be a run through of all these things we've come up with, You Might Be a Hacker If. My hope is that each one of these will be funny, but some of these will spawn conversation, because a lot of these things, if we have newcomers on the show or people newcomers to cybersecurity, a lot of these things might spawn curiosity. So, I think some of these, there's definitely backstories to some of these, so it should be funny.
There's at least 90% resonate with me. There's and for everybody that reads these things or hears about them, they're gonna have something saying, yeah, I can relate to that, right? And I'm hoping to bring that up during this show as well.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting. It's a little different, right? Less serious. And the other thing too, we have so many of them, and we're probably going to have some off the cuff. I didn't really have time to put them up in the banners on your screen, so unfortunately, they're not going to be up on the screen and banners. It's all going to be verbalized, and
you're going to put them in the show notes, right? Like you've been promising for the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, I've been promising show notes for the last 20 episodes, and I still haven't gotten to it. So anyway, speaking of gotten to it, let's get to our guest. So this is somebody you work with now, because you're no longer working with me, thank goodness. And but this is
your replacement we were bringing on. So I'm happy to be on the show with two of my favorite cybersecurity specialists. So
wait, so our guest and who else? Because I'm not one of them. But
so anyway, I thought we had two guests.
Dang. Well, he's not backstage, so we got lost. Anyway, so and it's a blast from my past too. I met our guest at a Houston hacker event, so he's the perfect guest to go along with today's theme. So let's go ahead and bring in Roy Solis.
Hey
guys,
or should I say Roy Solis? Sorry,
that's right.
Solis.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he didn't tie off. I was kind of expecting him to say, no, I'm not going to join these guys. This is nonsense.
Yeah, should have bailed when I could. I couldn't back out
late.
now.
Yeah, he just doesn't realize what he's getting into.
Well, we'll show him.
Well, you know what? Why don't you build up some credibility and let the audience know why they should listen to you? Why don't tell us a little bit about yourself?
So as Pascal said, we've we've all had mutual run-ins with each other, right, in the past. And so when it comes to OT cyber, growing up in Texas, we start off. I think everyone, when you come into Texas when you're born, you get a pair of boots and you get a truck, and then you get like access to tank gauging systems, right? So it's like the third one that they give you. So growing up and where I was, everything out in the country, you're either raising cattle or you're gauging wells, right? So even as a kid, we grow up in the oil field, and it just so happened that out of that came access to all kinds of OT systems, right, in the energy sector. And then from there, learning how to not only break them, but then fix them later. And then working into bigger, DCS systems, bigger SCADA systems. And so when I graduated college, coming out of there, working at one of the bigger industrial controls manufacturers, and then eventually working with Pascal and meeting some great people along the way. I never say anybody should listen to me, but I have failed a lot. And so from failing a lot, I've learned a lot, and I collect my failures. So in this space, it's all I've known for almost 20 years, and I love it every day. I'm really happy that I get to work in this space every day and meet great people like Pascal and Clint. So, and you guys do great work.
And there you go, lying.
The
there you go, lying.
Yeah.
So, question: your first breaking of a control system, was it deliberate or was it accidental?
It was completely accidental. I mean, when you think about it, when you just start going out there and you just start flipping switches, right? So when you're when you're out there just working on like equipment out in the field and it doesn't work, you just start toggling things until eventually either one, it starts up, or it never starts again, right? And so the first system I ever worked on, I just completely broke it.
How long did it take to recover?
2 days. I'll never forget.
The system or your emotions?
My ego.
Ego. Yeah.
2 days
You're still recovering
to this day. And so it's interesting. I got my nickname, a soulless nickname, from actually being out in the oil field. And so we were working on commissioning new systems, and we had a customer who didn't pay his bill. Basically, had us work through the holidays, getting things up and running. And so we sent him the invoice, and he just wouldn't pay it. And so I walked over to the wireless antenna, and I just cut the coax and said, he'll come find us and he'll pay his bill. And so the guy that was there said, "Man, you're just heartless." And I said, "Yeah, sometimes. Eventually he's going to come find us." And he said, "No, man, you're not heartless. You're just soulless. That's what it is." And so ever since then, that was where my nickname came from.
Nice.
But did you get paid?
We did. He paid the next day.
See?
Yeah.
It worked.
It's a good tactic. I don't recommend it though. But all right. So let's get on with today's fun. And I would really like audience participation. I see our viewer count is fluctuating up and down. And I wonder if it's kind of working that works like the ratings, like or the score or whatever, the trends. So when you're watching during election season, and what they'll do is they'll show like the Democrat influence, the Republican influence, the independent influence as they're doing the debates, right? And like if one side is doing really well, you see their political party is trending upwards and everything like that. And I kind of wonder if it's like that with our show. It's like if we're exciting, we're talking about good stuff, our viewer count pops up, and then if we're talking about some boring shit, then it's just like, or if we have a boring guest or something. So.
I think it's actually simpler. I think when Roy's talking, they go up, and when we're talking, everybody's tying off. That's what I think
everybody's bored. Everybody's bored with us. We say the same crap or the same sentiment all the time. I think this show lives and dies by its guests, which it should. It should be. This is about having quality guests and talking to you anyway. So let's get into like some fun. I would like to see audience participation. We have viewers online. Feel free to chat with us and talk with us and about some of these as we're going and. We have a lot of them here. We have enough to go through an entire show just by listing these out. So we may not get to all of these, but let's and not everyone has to be a discussion, but feel free to discuss and add flavor and context to any one of these. So here we go. We're starting. What?
Stop teasing. Bring them on.
Man, I will. You know me. I like to tease. I am a big tease. Keyword on big. All right. So let's get into it. So Here we go. We're gonna play. You might be a hacker if. So I may maybe try to use my Jeff Foxworthy voice if I can. But so you might be a hacker if your friends and family think you're their personal tech support for every single problem with anything with a microchip. And that's huge because it doesn't matter if you're a hacker or not. If you work with computers like my mom, Clint will help you fix that. He works with computers. Or even if you just work in a tech job, all your friends think you can hack computers. So that's one of my favorites. Number 2. I get this question all the time. You might be a hacker if people ask you, so how do you hack a computer? How many times if you work in cybersecurity, people ask all the time, so how do you hack computers? It's like this big generic question.
But then you show them and they're like, oh, that doesn't look anything like the movies. You're not going I mean,
I want to have a big easy button and just to carry around with me. So people ask, so how do you hack computers? Push this. So number 3, you might be a hacker if you have a War Games t-shirt.
Yeah.
Or really kind of any hacker genre t-shirt, right? The movie Hackers, any kind of t-shirt with the hackers or techies on it. You might be a hacker.
Does it count if your kids made you a t-shirt? Yeah,
that's cool. That's even better. Oh, by the way, I do want to express the fact that when we talk about hackers, right, the context of hacker here is not you might be a hacker criminal type, right? This is the true sense of hacker, meaning, you might have this aptitude to be curious, explore things, tinker with computers or technology, and you don't want to tear it apart and just do all sorts of things. So that is what we mean by you might be a hacker. In other words, the good meaning of hacker. So,
well, a hacker doesn't even have to be any security related, right? A hacker could be somebody who just takes a program apart and makes it optimize it to his likings.
Right. And Jim, no, not that kind of hacker. We're not hacking things with a hatchet or an axe. Although a lot of the times
it does. Yeah, I mean,
if you get the perfect,
cutting a coax.
If you get the perfect axe and you're completely obsessed with doing that thing perfectly to the max and better than anybody else, I would argue that's a hacker mentality.
Yep, exactly. Or a golfer. So I think Robert is in our threat gen. It's in our threat gen account, and he said a golfer. So, all right, you know what? That's a good point. If it was an axe instead of a baseball bat with that damn PC load letter thing, you might be a hacker. So, all right, so let's get on to number 4. This one happens to me almost daily. So, you might be a hacker if your family rolls their eyes at every time they see you entering in your complex 16-digit Netflix account password. And that happens to me all the time. So my wife will be like, I can't get into this. She's, connecting it to a TV or another device. And she's like, what's our password? I can't get in. And I'm all like, at this number, this letter, at underscore, dot, passing, bang, question mark. And she's like, why do you do that? I hate that. And I'm like, because media and social media accounts are top targets for people to try to hack into. So, I mean, does that happen to y'all? You guys? I mean, that's
every chance I get, like I will change. So when my wife has to enter any kind of password for anything on mine, it's to the point now where it's just like, well, just put my password in, and they just kind of hand you the phone, like, here, you just do it. It's just easier if you do it and move on from it.
Yep.
If your passwords are more like paragraphs than they really are words, you might be a hacker, because at that point it's like, and if you've ever gotten to the point where you've actually exceeded the password character limit, like within that box.
That's a good one. Yeah. If you exceed the password, if you exceed the maximum characters in your password in a box, you might be a hacker. That's right. So, so IT Ninja with the 1. Thank you for that. This was very related to the very first one we mentioned. All right.
So I got a little spin on that. So I do the passwords as well, but the kids have shorter password, but they have to change them like every 3 days. I got that set up in a domain policy. So that's
torture.
But I do it on the edge because I got a DNS filtering service, and I'm filtering at just about anything. I went to GitHub and I went to Reddit, and I downloaded every single blocking list that you can find. So they're always upset with me because I'm blocking. I think I'm even blocking Sesame Street because for whatever reason the list tells them to do that. So they have to come to me and say, "Can you please unblock this?" I'm like, "Yeah." So maybe I should
Wow.
maybe I should just do whitelisting instead of blacklisting, but that's a little variety on that.
Okay, so we know who is definitely a hacker. So, you know what? Number 5. If you yell at your friends and family when you see them using public hotspots, you might be a hacker.
Oh my God. That's or when you're traveling, like you go to the airport and immediately everyone wants to connect. Like your whole family just wants to connect to the free public Wi-Fi. It's like, oh my God, just shoot me.
Yeah, or like
print out your passwords and hand them to them. I mean,
like if you have episodes or events and like you're on vacation with your family and you see your wife or husband open up the laptop and connect the line and you're like, not that commercial. No.
All right, I got a question on that. So if you do that, is it more secure to use public Wi-Fi hotspot in that case, or to use a semi-decent VPN on top of connecting on there? Because now you're putting your password in the hands of your VPN provider.
No, so I carry around a wire. So for hotels, I carry around a personal Ethernet firewall, and so I hook into the Ethernet using a hardware firewall and then VPN.
Yeah.
So
or if you have multiple VPNs, right? So on some people you have your original, like your normal VPN that you connect in for public hotspots, and then you have your hotel VPN, right? And then you have your international VPN. Like if you've got more than one VPN, like you're more than likely you've probably been compromised at some point, right?
If you have more than one VPN, you might be a hacker. Yeah. So number 6. And then at this point, we already got ad libs, right? So, you know what? That's a really great one. So yeah, Ron saying, I imagine the guy from Old Spice. So,
he would. I know. Ron,
and then
he would imagine that guy.
And I agree. I bring my Wi-Fi pineapple with me everywhere. So everywhere. I might be a hacker. In fact, we have that in here, by the way. So number 6, the entire hackerwarehouse.com inventory is on your Christmas wish list.
I'm going to say no, because I actually tried to go out to that website to see what they had in inventory.
And you blocked yourself?
And I'm blocking it.
Wow. Yep. Saw that one coming. Okay. Here it is. This is it. Number 7. You feel the need to take a drink every time you hear the word Stuxnet. And for those audience members participating with their beverage of choice, you have to drink.
Don't forget Colonial. Oh.
Or Colonial. All right. Number 8. You have more than one laptop and at least one is a Linux box. I'm pretty sure we all fit into that category.
Oh yeah.
I know a couple of our audience members fit into that category personally.
Yeah. Or if you have more Raspberry Pis than you do working laptops. That's probably
that's a given. That's a given. Or how about this one? This is not on the list. Speaking of Raspberry Pis, if you've ever turned a Raspberry Pi into a retro gaming arcade, or if you've turned a Raspberry Pi into a PLC, or if you turned a Raspberry Pi into a jump box, or a Raspberry Pi, made your own Pony Express, I think you might be a hacker. If you've ever used Raspberry Pis to build an array to mine Bitcoins back when you could do that with Raspberry Pi.
Create an onion router. I have a permanent connection to the Tor network here through a Raspberry Pi for research.
That's a good one. Hypervisors on every PC you have.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah. How about if you don't even use your main operating system, but you use nothing but virtual machines?
That's right.
Like my computer is a bare metal ESXi box.
I'm not far off actually. I got a couple of Dell 7920s, and basically it's an ESXi server, and I use them to just spin up the OS.
You know what? I think that if you're in IT, whether you're a hacker or not, or cybersecurity, if you're in IT, you have tons of virtual machines for different things, right? So, if you find yourself yelling at the TV every time they say or do something wrong in terms of hacking or computers or the interface, you might be a hacker.
Man, that's my biggest pet peeve right there. So many times you get a movie, right? It's rolling and it's just like, hey, I need access to this prison cell. Oh, hold on. 2 seconds later, like all the doors in the prison.
Oh, could you be referring to Mr. Robot?
Right?
Okay, Mr. Robot gets a lot right, but there is
but they get some wrong.
NCIS. Oh my God, they're like, okay, I've found every single person in the whole world who has this particular thing. In like what, in 10 seconds?
Yeah, it's pitiful. It's shameful. I mean,
and I take this one to the max, and my kids and my family are just like, shut up, we just want to watch the movie. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Oh.
Yep. So how about your friends and family or even strangers ask you if you can hack a Facebook account?
That is... yeah,
I've had more than one person ask me if I can do that for them. Can you hack somebody's Facebook account for me? Can or will?
Yeah.
So if you've compiled your own Linux kernel, you might be a hacker.
Yep. There we go on a different route, right? That's not even completely security related, but
yeah, just hacker techie, right? Geek, Slackware back in the day, 1996 Slackware.
Ooh,
or Red Hat version 3. If you brush your teeth with Mountain Dew, you might be a hacker. Or how about if you go on Amazon looking for Jolt Cola? Been there, done that. You might be a hacker.
At 2 a.m.
So what flavor of Linux, speaking of that, so I've got some people talking about, their favorite flavors, Gentoo, Ubuntu, Slackware. What's everybody's favorite Linux flavor?
Arch.
For our hackers out there.
Arch Linux. There is no substitute.
Is that the what's the one for forensics? Not security anybody. Is that the one Arch Linux? No.
That's Black Arch.
And if you say Kali Linux, you might not be a real hacker. Boom.
Unless you're running that as a VM on your Arch box. So
yeah,
I did cheat a little bit. So I did make things easier on myself. I used Manjaro, so that it makes it really easier to install Arch Linux on a variety of hardware. But Arch is just the way to go.
I've never used Arch. So,
maybe not a hacker.
I like Mint OS. Mint OS. I think Ryan Reynolds owns Mint OS now. Wait, no, that's Mint Mobile. Anyway, dude, I love those commercials. The dude's like, carpeted shower. Man, what is it? That just doesn't. What's that? What's those commercials like? Like, man, that's just not right, or whatever it is. Anyway, Pascal, this one is yours, and there's a story here you got to tell me about. But if you can't stay up until 4 a.m., but also can't wake up at 4 a.m. to get to the airport.
No. You got that. You got it wrong. If you can stay up till 4 a.m. hacking into a box.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You cannot get up at 4 a.m. to go to the airport, right? I can stay up till the early morning, but the other way around, I can't get up in order to go out. So I that's just the mentality of a hacker.
Yeah, that one's a very specific use case, but I agree. You might be a hacker, right?
It's more the activities we do around that time, right? You stay up, you get into it. You do a legal hack the bug session, and I easily find myself 3-4 o'clock in the morning before I'm like, oh, maybe I should go to bed.
This one is also yours. I like it though. If you spend 3 weeks programming your Hello World program just to shave off 2 lines of code, you might be a hacker.
And I'm using Hello World because it resonates.
Whatever.
I've done it with PLC programs where I actually switch from letter logic to statement list just because it's more efficient. Right? That's geeking out. You've been there, Roy?
Yeah. I mean, Yes. So the other thing too is if you're looking at things of how to break it first before how to fix it, you might be in that same list.
Yeah.
Because when you're looking at when you look at a problem and you say, man, how would I just break that? And then you think, oh, well, wait a minute, I'm actually here to fix it. So you look at it the first way. I
It's kind of like the whole, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. You know, it's like, if you
That's
can break
right.
it, you can fix it. So,
That's exactly it. I love that line.
here is useless as a poopy flavored lollipop. Anyway, all right. Love that movie. So this one's actually really true if you think about it. This is yours, Pascal. So you can't talk. You consequently do not add comments to your code because it was too hard. I don't know, Pascal. You read this one. I can't read. I don't understand your meaning here, but I understand what you're getting at.
Consequently to the previous statement, you do not add comments to your code because if it's hard to write, it should be hard to learn and to read as well. Right?
I'm gonna say that's a stretch. I just copy and pasted all yours in here, so I don't understand that one. That's not mine. I don't understand that one, but we'll go with it. But
we'll go with it.
Where you're going.
We'll
move on to the next one.
It took me 6 weeks to fine tune this piece of code. It should take you 6 weeks to understand it. Maybe I should put it that way.
Okay. Well, so that's a good. So yeah, you might be a hacker, just not a good software engineer.
Oh, I'm a terrible software engineer. That's why I do security, because I know how things go wrong.
If you build your own home automation network around DeviceNet, you might be a hacker.
Fill in the blanks. DeviceNet, Remote.io, whatever you want to do.
I think there's a story there, Pascal. I think that you wrote that one. I think that's you. You have your whole automation lab. Roy, you have an automation lab at home. I know you do.
Oh, I don't anymore. I used to. I had a virtual automation lab for a little while.
Really?
But yes.
Oh, and Roy just left the show. Just kidding.
I don't. But I will say this though going to home automation. So any type of home automation device before it ever gets put on my network, if you literally hook up a packet analyzer to that device before you go live with it to make sure it's not communicating to any IPs, like you might be a hacker. I mean, because it gets a little extreme sometimes. You're literally scrolling through Wireshark looking like, okay, that's legit. Now throw it in the trash. Move on to the next one.
That's going to be every one of them. Every device I have is like calling home to China.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What is that? I mean, everything from my vacuum, right, to my light bulbs, they all call to China. And I'm like,
no.
What do you want to know? What time I turn my lights on? Come on, man.
My smart toaster identifies as a refrigerator in Chinese. So
I actually broke one of my computers with that same thing. I had just installed an IDS. We'll get to that in a minute. But I installed an IDS, and every time I would start my gaming computer, I would get a pop-up saying, "Hey, this thing is trying to go to China." So I took it apart to almost to the chip level, and I just to find it. And so I took the CPU out, different CPU, see if it was still doing that. Put a packet capture on there till eventually I think I fried the BIOS by popping that as well, because it was back in the day when there were still those ICs you put in there. But yeah, it's like finding that needle in a haystack. You give me one little detail, and I'll figure out. I'll keep digging till I figure out what it is.
Yeah, we actually have one for your IDS one here in a minute. Wait, hold your comment about the IDS till we get there. That's actually next one. So the very next one is, so this one clearly applies to me. Look around me. If your office is the darkest room in the house or the building, you might be a hacker. Yep. I have to have nothing but the neon glow of my computer monitor and ambient lighting. Of course, right now I've got my studio lighting. See how bright it is on my hand. That's for the camera. But normally when that light's out, nothing but the faint glow of the computer monitor and everything else is dark around me.
We shop around for houses that have a dark basement just so I can have my.
There you go. So here you go, Pascal. If you have an IDS and or threat monitoring set up at home, you might be a hacker.
Guilty.
Yep. I think if you work in cybersecurity, you have an IDS or security onion or some sort of SIM set up at home.
I started that when Snort just became common knowledge.
Yeah.
So I at some point I took that to the max. I was just playing around with it, and I'm like, hey, what if I can find any credit card numbers leaving my network, right? And then I'm like, oh, I see that the wife is using these credit card numbers. What if I block her transactions? And she got so upset because she was trying to do online purchases, and I was blocking them at the edge.
Yeah, I remember I set up straight up Snort, before Security Onion and all that existed, when you had to do it manually and set it up. I was setting up Snort back in like 2001 to 2003, way back then. If you courtesy test all of your neighbors' Wi-Fi access points, friendly neighborhood hacker, you might be a hacker. None of us have ever done that, right?
No, I think it's part of the neighborhood watch criteria.
Yeah.
Like if you're a hacker, you have to. I mean, you have to be able to do that. It's like a community service, right? You're actually doing everybody a favor. So.
And yeah, if they have weak passwords on there, I'll change them for them, just to help them out.
and forget to tell them. So
go ahead. No, I was gonna say I won't do it on their Wi-Fi signal, but just the portal itself. If you can get to the portal, with a standard passwords, that's the password I changed. They'll never find out because they've never logged into that thing to begin with.
I may or may not have gotten into a neighbor's router before and redirected all of their stuff to the 2.4G and gave myself the sole access to their 5G. So it was close enough proximity to where I could do that. If you can read scrolling Wireshark captures like Cypher reads the matrix code, you might be a hacker.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
So that's
just experience right there. That's a lot of
anybody, any type of anybody who works with network security or coding network. I cut my teeth writing IDS code for Symantec back. And that's why when I first got into this industry, I was writing IDS code and testing IDSs for Symantec in San Antonio. And I fell in love with, and at that point, Wireshark was brand new. It was still TCP dump at that point. And of course, TCP dump is what Wireshark's built on top of. And I got to the point, I love sitting there watching network traffic. And so, maybe you're not just a hacker, you might just be a network geek.
Yeah, or the other one is if you see a rogue packet as you're watching Wireshark scroll across the screen and you get excited.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that goes on to the next one, right? So the last one and this next one, they go hand in hand. If you actually enjoy watching Wireshark captures, and to your point, Roy, if you get excited when you see that rogue packet.
He's getting excited now, just thinking of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's more hacker-like, using Wireshark or using T-Shark or TCP dump? To watch those
using TCP dump for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's the raw part. Yeah. How about this? If you write your own protocol dissectors for TCP dump and Wireshark, you might be a hacker. So if you consider war games, hackers, and the Matrix classic cinema, you might be a hacker.
They're not just classic cinema. They should be on everybody's must-see list. On every security wannabe. Yep.
If you've ever dressed as a character from The Matrix for a Halloween party or cosplay, you might be a hacker.
I was Trinity.
I believe that.
I thought you were a man.
Yeah, I believe that. I could see it too. I mean, leather, the black leather, right?
That's so me. That's so me.
Yeah.
I saw a long time ago. I saw it was a flash. A little flash thing that said it was a little cartoon where the scene where Neo meets Trinity, and he's like, Trinity, as in the Trinity that hacked the whatever database. She goes, that was a long time ago. And he goes, I thought you were a guy. She said, that was a long time ago too.
Okay.
So Jim, that's a good one. I forgot. Yeah, don't forget sneakers along with those movies, all those hacker movies. Yeah, sneakers, definitely. That's where River Phoenix died, but not in real life. Yeah, sorry, I went there. But anyway, he was the hacker. He was the hacker that died. So if you make all of your command line terminals monochrome green on black, you might be a hacker. That's standard, right? Anytime you do anything, web code or terminals, and this what is this? What is this nouveau black characters on white? No, we've got to make it green on black.
I know I got away from that. It's just I like the light gray or the medium gray on black better nowadays.
Oh yeah, that too. But yeah, exactly, Jim. VT 100.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we got a couple of hackers on the.
Yeah, well, I know we do. I know we
Online.
have one.
Oh.
I know we have one. In fact, we have a pretty reputable ICS cybersecurity vulnerability, we have a pretty reputable ICS device vulnerability researcher in our audience right now. I don't know. You still there? You still there? You know who I'm talking about. Say something. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm doxing him. If you dox your friends, you probably shouldn't be a hacker. If you've ever had an argument with your spouse or significant others, in Pascal's case, others. Anyway, let me start over. Yeah, if you if you've ever had an argument with your spouse or significant other because you refuse to change your password, oh no, what that means because you refuse to make your password more simple. That's what that's supposed to be. So, yeah, that goes back to the whole Netflix password. Like, my wife's like, "What? You need to change it. It's too complex." No, and then it starts an argument. So I don't understand this one. Somebody might need to explain that. Ron, I don't know what you mean by that. You might be a hacker when you put your friend's car for sale on Kijiji. I think there's a story there, Ron, but
we got to get him back on to explain that.
Yeah, story. You know what we ought to do? Well, we ought to give Ron the link to the show and let him come on the show right now
If he still here you go. If you still have the link, why don't you jump on and explain?
It's a different link every show. Ron, do you want to come on the show now or no?
Just say yes or no. Nod your head. We can see you.
Yeah, just nod your
we can see you.
And there's like a little bit of a delay. Okay, he wants to come on. Yeah, let me get him the link real quick. And we're gonna for the first time ever, we're gonna get a live audience member to come on the show directly. So,
because I could see either way, this is going to be a really good story, or I'm going to get a really cheap car. Either way, he's going to get it online.
Who says it runs?
Ron, you know what? I'm going to have to do it in LinkedIn because I only have your old email address from the last place. Hold on, let me LinkedIn you. We're just killing time.
I would say you're a hack. You might be a hacker if you change jobs more often than you change your video cards.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
you might be a hacker if your USBs are labeled for your different environments. So,
yeah, I got one for a Live Kali. I got one for Windows. The Windows PE on it in case I need to jump into to do a BIOS update on a Linux system.
Yeah.
All right. There you go, Ron. I just sent I sent today's show link to your LinkedIn messaging because I have only your old email address. That's also why we missed a couple of our catch-ups.
You can catch up in a minute. He's going to jump on.
All right, so we're going to let Ron get involved here. So we're going to go down to a couple more while we let Ron get on board here.
Where are we at? Like 23, 24?
26.
Okay, we're making good progress.
So here, I'm going to do the improvised one here. That doesn't have a number. This one was Roy's. He said, if you listen to EDM or electronic music while working or coding or doing whatever, you might be a hacker.
Woo!
Or you might be European.
No, that's where you start eating glow sticks while you do that.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite? Dead Mouse or is it Dead Mouse? Who do you
Yeah,
listen to?
so Adventure Club, Dead Mouse. And I'm trying to think of who else is in my list. Hold on, I got my list here.
There he is.
Hey,
How's it going, folks?
My favorite ICS vulnerability researcher.
yep. You got to
So
get
everybody,
back
this
on
is-
this show, man.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was. Yeah,
always.
Ron was a guest on our show quite a while ago. We got to get him on again pretty soon. Well, he's on here now.
Yeah.
You just
Wait.
used up your chance.
All right, that's it. See you later.
Yeah, well, you want to hear about how you can have fun with your friends' cars, right?
Yeah,
go for it.
What's going on with that story there? Which was this one here. You're going to tell the story to go along with that.
Well, I use friends, but it can be someone you don't like, particularly an ex, person at work. It could be anything. Not that I would have done any such activity.
Interesting.
what
You
you
said
do
X
is-
first.
Could be or an ex-friend. But
Telling.
But what you can do is all you really need to do is to get access to their reference papers, which in certain provinces in Canada are always in the glove box. And once you have those, you're gold. It has the address on it and everything else. But if you really want to be a nice person, what you can do is you can make several ads for that car, especially if it's a car, it's very economy based, under 10 grand. You just lower the price just enough so they're going to get hammered with phone calls. And you can do like some cellular phone number redirection. So you basically, when you reference the account, say, yes, this is whose phone this is, and then you change it up. And so they will get bombarded with phone calls, text messages, and emails for a used car. And so if your car happens to be for sale, and it's the best way to get even with someone.
That's so evil.
Devious. So you know what? Yeah. If you come up with shit like that to get even with people, you might be a hacker.
Especially because he's in the dark basement. What do you got in the background there? Are you painting?
He's
are you
painting,
the
yeah.
walls black?
I'm painting.
He's painting the walls black. That's black paint.
So
Screw
this
these white
is so
doors.
look, this next one, number 26. This is my favorite one out of all of them. If you can't actually make it through the entire movie of Black Hat, you might be a hacker.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
Yes.
That was pretty horrible.
I love anything on TV that has a reference to hacking, even NCIS. Terrible.
Oh my
But
god, when they're double
but
hacking
still.
on the computer. There's two people on one keyboard.
Which was the other one where they got into a Ferrari, they chased this 747 just so they could plug in their Ethernet wire, so they could reprogram the onboard computer. Oh.
Was that Mission Impossible? What are you
No,
talking?
it was a TV show that was on for like 2 seasons, but it's over the top. But Blackhead was just wrong. His posture.
Yeah.
Look at Clint. That's what a hacker looks like. Not Thor. Thor is not a hacker.
Scorpion?
figure.
What is that? What you
Yep, Scorpion. Thank you. That's the one.
Huh.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that show. Yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty good one here. I like this. You might be a hacker if you have to qualify an explanation of an exploit with theoretically. That's awesome.
That's really good.
That's awesome. That's
Or
perfect.
I know a guy, right?
Thanks, Jim.
So, if you can't get through an entire movie without telling the person sitting next to you why the computer scene is unrealistic, that kind of goes along with the other one we said earlier about like, that's wrong. Da, 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 da. So, if you've ever had conversations with your friends about how the Matrix might be a real possibility, you might be a hacker or just a weirdo.
I showed, yeah, maybe both. But I showed that movie to my teenage kids the other day for the first time, and my oldest one picked up on it right away. Like, I think that's real. I think we're in the Matrix right now. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
And the master
that's
creator
so
is
proud.
a white, and the master creator is a white middle-aged man. Sure.
Well, no, the dude was not a white middle-aged man. He was like an old dude, wasn't he? In the Matrix.
I'm not,
Anyway.
I don't discriminate.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders. Yeah.
A white old dude with white hair with a white suit on. Wow. So hey, we have the dark side and the light side.
Yeah, look at that. And the pink knob side.
Hey.
The pink knob.
Yeah,
corner.
the pink knob side.
Right.
Wait, are you talking about his forehead or the dress
Are we
suit?
going there? Are we going there? Really? Really? We're going there? Pink knobs on this show?
Like I said,
Yeah, all right. He's talking about your forehead.
I
All right,
haven't had a chance to paint my knob yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, let's we got to keep this rated PG-13. All right,
IKEA
here we go.
custom
Number 29. If you know who Emmanuel Goldstein is, you might be a hacker.
Wait,
Remember,
who's that?
go back. So that's the thing, right? Watching the movie Hackers. So Serial's character name, other than serial killer, was Emmanuel Goldstein, and a lot of people don't realize that Emmanuel Goldstein was the founder of 2600, and a lot of people don't even know what the hell 2600 is. So if you know what 2600 is, you might be a hacker.
Yeah. That's old school.
If you've ever wanted to smash the stack for fun and profit, you might be a hacker. I know for a fact there's at least 3 people here who have smashed the stack for fun and profit. I just don't know if you've ever done it, Roy.
Theoretically,
Theoretically,
I might have done that.
I know a guy. Yeah, theoretically. If you know what a NOP sled is, you might be a hacker.
Yeah. Or if you know what, if you call it a NOP sled instead of no-op, you might be a hacker.
If you deliberately make your knob sled 90x long,
Is a pink NOP. Anyway,
Yeah,
you know what?
pink
If you call it a noop, you're not a hacker.
no, then you're a noob.
You're a noob. If you've ever had a desire to automate everything with scripts, you might be a hacker.
That's totally true.
Yeah, we had one of those at Rockwell who was writing scripts that would write scripts for him. I'm like, that's genius.
Yeah, so I agree. So the IT. Speaking of genius, IT Ninja said there are several real life references in the movie Hackers, and that's true. There are all the hacker shows that the hacker handles that they reference are all real life hacker handles. There's even like just tons of Easter eggs, right? Like his name Babbage was a throwback to at the end. Mr. Babbage is a throwback to the founder of Babbage Computers and all that. So many different throwbacks. I mean, Hal was a throwback to 2001. Hal. I mean, so there's just so many Easter eggs. That movie, people don't realize how great that movie is. Again, Hackers, classic cinema, might be a hacker. If you have a love-hate relationship with PowerShell, you might be a hacker.
I get these
blank
spurts.
faces. Come on, you guys don't get that one?
No, I get these spurts that I'm like, wow, this is the best thing. I got to learn everything about PowerShell, and I get into it. I'm like, oh my god, this syntax is horrible. And then I go weeks, months without doing it. I'll be like, hey, let's try this in PowerShell, and then the whole affair starts all over again. I don't know what you guys think of that.
I agree.
I love PowerShell because I like kitty cats. If you get that joke, you might be a hacker.
No,
I
I
think
don't know.
Mimi
PowerShell's
cats.
Oh, Mimi
PowerShell
Cat.
is a bit interesting because like I use it like whenever I use it is for a particular task. It's like, okay, how can I go scrape something that's running a web shell really, really fast? Oh, I know PowerShell can do it because it's got those objects in it. And then I go Stack Overflow, copy and paste, manipulate it. And then I forget about how any of that worked.
If you use Stack Overflow on a daily basis, you might be a hacker.
Dude, Ron, can you hold your little animal up there a little bit and just do this? Look, I mean, it's a dog and not a cat, but I mean, you have a dog that looks like a bald cat. So, anyway, all right. He's got a chihuahua. What?
So what if you if you use the list command in a Windows shell and get disappointed when it fails, you might be a hacker.
Actually, no, that's not true. LS works in PowerShell.
That's true.
Does it?
That's true. Yeah.
If you know that, you might be a hacker.
I didn't know
Cut 'em
that. I
off.
never use it.
Cut them off.
Yeah. All right. You know what? Bye, Roy. Just kidding.
You put me on the wrong side. Look at this. Now I mean, how can
No,
I,
it's
how can I
no.
admire-
Go
there we
back.
go. There
Go
we
back.
You know what? Let's play musical squares. Look at that. Oh my God.
If you play musical squares on your own podcast, you might be a hacker.
You might be an idiot.
Consistently trying to scan Pascal's boards in the background to see if you can find a password. You might be a hacker.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. If you have actually seen
You
the
want me to
movie
zoom in?
Takedown, if you've actually seen the movie Takedown, you might be a hacker.
I actually love that one.
It's a terrible representation of Mitnick's story, but
Yes.
it is a good movie.
He hates the movie himself.
Of
but
course he does.
I think it's a fantastic story behind it from a different perspective. I read Mitnick's book as well, and I can see how you hate the movie, how he made the movie, but it was well done. It was just
I auditioned for the lead part in the movie Black Hat, but because they said they wanted somebody with the body of a god, it turns out they were talking about Thor, not Buddha. So I didn't get the part.
It would have been a better movie with you as a lead.
It would have been way more believable.
I would have been in those chase scenes. I'd run 5 steps and be out of breath and fall over and die. Movie's over.
But that's the way it is. We do our best work behind the keyboard, not running away from the keyboard.
Real hackers.
You could make it like Fast and the Furious, where they accelerate the frame. So like you just do like a half a walk, and then they'll make it look like you're legging it. Change gears.
If your friends and family ask you what antivirus they should use, you might be a hacker.
Or do I need an antivirus for my Mac?
Yeah. So if you have any Hack 5 gadget currently in your laptop bag right now, you might be a hacker.
I think we all got pineapples.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I think it'd
Nope.
be OG pineapple.
Hacker F for me. 3 of them.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Hacker RF. But that's not Hack 5. Hacker RF is not Hack 5.
True.
That's
Oh,
Great
Cut
Scott.
run off.
That's Great
Cut run
Scott
off.
gadgets.
But they were the only ones that were able to ship to Canada because it's controlled under export.
Oh, so you got it's technically. Oh, you're right. It's technically not a Hack 5 device, but you can buy it through Hack 5.
Yeah.
So Packet Squirrel, Land Turtle, Rubber Ducky. Is the pineapple a Hack 5 device? Actually,
Yeah,
I think it's
it
a Hack
is.
5.
that's
Yeah.
what is it? Is that a pony
Yeah, this is one of the original pineapples.
or is that a pony? Or
No, it was before they actually changed like the shape of it to the actual pineapple. This is
Oh.
like one of the OGs.
dude, that's like a raspberry. Oh yeah, Bash Bunny. That's another one, Bash Bunny. Hey, we have a Bash Bunny on our show right now. We have the original. Oh, Brash Bunny. I'm sorry. All right.
I didn't write a bash book though, but
There you go. We know. Well, we already know you're a hacker. So, if you still
Hey,
call
you don't have to prove yourself.
hey, if you still call Angelina Jolie acid burn, you might be a hacker.
Oh yeah, that's
Yep,
the best
yep.
role she's ever done. Period.
If you've ever substituted letters for numbers in your username, handle, or password, you might be a hacker. Or
only zero.
if you refer to your username as a handle, you might be a hacker.
Or if you get mad every time you try to input a new password and it doesn't allow certain special characters, you might get.
That's, somebody mentioned that in our audience earlier. Somebody said they get mad like when you can't have like certain characters in your bank password. You're like, this is so stupid. Like you think you're being secure by disallowing certain. Have your coders write proper code to properly filter the input, idiots. Anyway,
Especially when you're a bank and they go like, you can only do numbers and digits, or numbers and letters.
we have 5 more, and we've got about 7 minutes left in the show. I think we're going to get through the entire list here. So, if you've ever quoted Mr. Robot, you might be a hacker. So these last ones are pretty good. So if you have a Guy Fawkes mask, you might be a hacker. Or on that note, if you think the movie V for Vendetta is about hackers, you might be a hacker.
Yeah.
Because of the
So-
Guy Fawkes mask.
So interesting story on that. So when I met my wife, the very first date that we went on, we went to this restaurant in downtown Dallas, and they had a bunch of people with Guy Fawkes masks on and the robes and everything, literally standing outside the restaurant that we were walking into. And it was just eerie because it was 20 people just lined up on the sidewalk, and we walk in and she goes, "What's going on?" And I said, "Just keep walking. Just keep walking." And so, she had no idea. Like, she's never seen the movie. She had no idea what the masks were for. And then they're just sitting there just staring at you through the windows of this restaurant. You're like, what the
That's
hell
creepy.
is going on? It was super creepy. But immediately I knew what it was. I was like, don't worry about it. Just keep walking. She's like, that is just scary, isn't it? And I was like, You have no idea. Let's just move on.
So we have
Right,
two
you gotta
left here.
pick a date.
If you have a burn phone for when you go to cybersecurity conferences, you might be a hacker.
Burn phone, burn laptop,
Itching and burning.
Schizophrenic.
itching and
Burn.
burning afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to conferences and end up with itching and burning, you might be a hacker or just stupid. Or if you've ever been to DEF CON, you might be a hacker. If you've ever, I don't know. So I have one last one here because I'm going to use the last 5 minutes to kind of close out. But last one. If you're still watching this episode, you might be a hacker.
Woo!
And we do still have live viewers. And that's not counting the people that will watch this show, the recording of this show later. So, man, you know what? It was really cool to get you on impromptu like that, Ron. That was a special treat. And Roy, it was a special treat having you on for the first time. You're no longer an OT exposed virgin. So,
Well, thank good.
You're-
I mean, I definitely feel that I am now exposed. So
Oh,
thank you.
We'll expose you some more the next time.
like the Dallas Cowboys defense, you've been exposed.
Just,
Oh,
just use lube next time. That'd be great before we get this started.
there we go. You've been exposed like the Dallas defense. So yeah, I'm the cool kind of Dallas Cowboys fan. I knock my own team and I knock the other fans. So yeah, man. Thanks for being on, guys. Ron, thanks.
Thank you.
Pascal, whatever. You're always on anyway. I'm getting bored of you.
You should replace me with somebody younger.
Like Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron should be like Ron's the new up and coming talent in the industry. I mean, you're not new and up and coming, but you represent the younger versions.
But
I'm
it might have a problem with Ron, though. There might be some import rules coming from Canada. I don't know if you can.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, Jim. You know what? This is certainly true. Jim said Ron's better looking. That is absolutely true.
Yep.
Not
Give him,
gonna argue
give him
there.
20 more years. We'll see where
I
he
mean,
gets.
shit, Ron's dog's ass is better looking than me. I mean, so
I'm not sure you'd say that after you see him do his business.
have you seen me after a hangover? I mean, actually, you have. You have seen me after a hangover. That's true. I mean, let's clarify this. It was an S4, and we saw each other in the hotel lobby the next morning.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just stop. Yeah, he didn't see me like right the next morning. Hey, honey. Anyway,
Yeah. Go there. Yeah. Go there.
anyway, you know what? Hey, this was a fun show. Everybody took it a little different direction and just had some fun with it. And because we kind of took a little bit of a production break, we will be back next Friday again. And next Friday, we're actually going to be talking a lot about Pascal's latest book that he has out. So that's what we're going to talk about next time. And I think, Ron, we'd like to get you back on pretty soon, too, to talk about, I think we're going to talk about S-Bomb, right?
We can talk about S-bombs. I might have a few vulnerabilities out of embargo by then, potentially. So we could talk about that. We can talk about just about anything. Maybe a look back on 2020, sort of, a little pre-Christmas.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, like do a little Christmas special. You know what? I would like to get like a bunch of people on, right? And I'll give you a preview. There's a possibility in early December. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I think in early December, I think Dale Peterson's going to be on.
Can we have Pale? Can Pale join us too?
Huh? Pale Dieterson. I don't even know who's behind that. Do you?
I'm not allowed to say if I did know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. It's trying to get you. Anyway, hey, so Roy, thanks for being on for the first time, Mr. Solis. Definitely like to have you on again as well. But yeah, we'll be seeing Ron again pretty soon. And thanks for hanging out with us, everybody, and talking. You might be a hacker if. And yeah, we'll see everybody next time. So everybody have a good weekend. We'll see you next week on Friday, same bat channel, same bat time. And I'll probably get sued for saying that, but that's okay. I'm used to it. So take care, everybody. Later.
Yes.